What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elon, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to sell your soul to the devil to make more money. So what is selling your soul to the devil? Well, first we need to be able to establish what the devil is. Christianity is the first religion that came up with the concept of the devil. Originally in Judaism, they did mention Satan a few times in the Old Testament, but he was looked at more like a servant of God. He was like God's good cop, bad cop, right? God was the good cop, Satan was the bad cop when it came to adjudicating a lot of these things. Like, for example, in the story of Job. In the story of Job, there was a very pious religious man, and Satan and God made a deal that Satan would be allowed to torture Job on God's behalf in order to see if Job would stick to the plot and continue to maintain his faith, right? So what the devil represents in Christianity was that they took this satanic force from the Old Testament and they took these two other unconscious forms called Lucifer. Lucifer is not exactly Satan. Lucifer is one form, and these are not real things, or they are real things. It just depends how you look at it. What they are is Platonic forms. This is also known as Jungian archetypes. These are thought forms that exist in the collective unconscious that we can all tap into. So I can choose to embody one of these thought forms. So I can choose to embody Lucifer. I can choose to embody Satan. I can choose to embody Christ. These are all forms that I can choose to embody. And every time I pray to one of these Platonic forms and I engage with one of these Platonic forms, I start to become more like this Platonic form. So what it means when you sell your soul to the devil, it means that you're trying to embody the Platonic form of the devil or of Satan, specifically from a Christian context. And what Satan or the devil is they took Ahriman, which is a old Zoroastrian god, which Zoroastrian was a dualistic religion where there's a good god and there's a bad god. The good god is the god of spirituality, the bad god is the god of the material world. This is very similar to the demiurge in Gnosticism. So they took that force, which is a very materialistic force, which you see a lot playing out in the world today. It's somebody that money is their god. They can't see past financial success. All their spirituality goes back to some kind of financial success, and everything ultimately in their mind is linked to money. If I can show you a slip on my bank account that I'm rich, I'm a good person and I'm allowed into the club. That's Ahriman's world. On the other hand, you have Lucifer. Lucifer is the creative force. Think Vivaldi playing a song on his violin, or a heavy metal artist that rips the craziest solo ever. That's a Luciferic force. And when you embody Lucifer, you can think of this as the rock star you can think of this as a rock star who's having intercourse with a lot of women. He's totally unhinged. He's doing a lot of drugs, and he's ultimately on a path to self-destruction. But at the same time, he's producing the most beautiful art that you've ever seen. So he's self-destructing for his art. This is another Platonic form that somebody can embody. So what Christianity did was they took this Luciferic force and they took the Ahrimanic force and they combined them together to create another Platonic form that they then called the satanic form. So if you're embodying Satan, you're creative and you're very materialistic, but you don't care about spirituality, you don't care about right or wrong, you don't care about helping people, and you don't care about redeeming the world. You're extremely creative and extremely materialistic, and you're just out for yourself. So what it means when you sell your soul to the devil, it means that you're worshiping this particular Platonic form, where you want to be as rich as possible, and you want to push out your creative stuff onto the world. But when you care about materialism, a lot of the times you have to embody something that you don't necessarily care about. For example, if I'm trying to sell something to you or market something to you and I'm unethical, for example, I'm Coca-Cola, right? And I want to make sure that you buy as much Coca-Cola as possible and that you drink as much Coca-Cola as possible, and I don't care about your health and I don't care about the consequences for you. I'm going to do a lot of creative marketing, and I'm going to make sure that my branding for my Coca-Cola is as good as possible. It's clean, it's crisp, it's the right colors, it's really appealing to the lowest common denominator and putting you into your root chakra, which is your animal soul, your animalistic desires, and I'm going to hit on those, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you sugar, I want to give you dopamine spikes, I want to get you excited, but ultimately it's empty. After you consume my Coca-Cola, you're left worse off than before, and I want to make as much money from this as possible. So that would be an example of selling my soul to the devil. And if I work for a company like Coca-Cola as a CEO or as a marketing director, but let's say that I'm a very creative person. Let's say I had a dream to be a musician, or I had a dream to be a movie producer or an actor, but now I'm acting in a Coca-Cola ad, getting more people to buy this drink that I know is destroying their health, that I know is not providing anything good for society, but I'm just doing it because I want to get a paycheck and I want to get rich. And I'm justifying this to myself. That would be an example of selling your soul to the devil. So how do you do this? Well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to develop your creativity to the point where you actually are Luciferian. You're useful enough so that one of these big companies wants to pick you up and give you a big paycheck. So you need to work. You need to work on your art to the point where you're useful. And then you want to be extremely materialistic, and you want to not care about other people. So you want to be Ahrimanic. You're only in it for your own benefit. You can also think of this as Machiavellian. And then once you've developed those two skills, it's really easy. All you have to do is go network with other people who have a similar interests, and they will offer you a lot of opportunities. But the problem with taking this path in life is that you constantly have to watch your back, because when you're dealing with other people who've sold their soul to the devil, they have no morals, and they'll backstab you and try to replace you, try to cut you out, and you'll have a lot of business problems. So that's why I don't recommend this path. What I would recommend that people do is that they develop their Luciferian aspects, so you want to be super creative, and develop your Ahrimanic aspects, so you want to be a shrewd negotiator and a strong business person. But these are two pillars in what is called the Kabbalistic tree of life, and this is the Rosicrucian model. You have the Ahrimanic pillar, you have the Luciferian pillar, but there's also a pillar in the middle. This is something that Buddha talked about in the middle way. And there's a great book by an occultist called Israel Regardie called The Middle Pillar, which explains how to take both of these forces and integrate them with a Christ consciousness so that you can be perfectly creative, perfectly materialistic, but then also Christ-like. So you could use both of these energies to make the world a better place. So you could use your creativity to make amazing art. You can use your love for material goods to make a lot of money, and then you can use your Christ center, your heart, your consciousness, the seat of your true will to enact positive changes upon the earth, basically. And I think that this is a much better situation. And this is perfectly exemplified in the New Testament when Satan came to Jesus and offered him to sell him the entire world for nothing, basically. He said, you could be the king of the material world. All you have to do is not hang on the cross. Sounds like a pretty easy sell, right? Imagine somebody came to you and offered you to be the king of the entire earth, and all you have to do is not die to redeem humanity's sins. I mean, a lot of people would take that. And that's what it means. That's what it metaphorically means. And a lot of these creative people, they will have a conversation like this. An executive from a big company will come to them and tell them, hey, listen, we need you to say this, we need you to wear this, we need you to promote these agendas, and we basically need to use you as a puppet and control you, but we're going to give you everything that you want. You're still going to be able to represent your self-creativity to the extent that we allow you, and we just want to use your talent for our own agenda. It's very hard to say no to. And there's a lot of people who cultivate themselves just to have the ability to do this. But again, when they get you in their grasp, they can use you, they can abuse you, and they control you. So that's why a lot of the times it's better to be independent. It might be a harder path, it might be a longer path, and you might have to sit in a park like this making YouTube videos by yourself instead of getting a big deal. But ultimately, I think it will be more rewarding. And at the end of the day, we live in a very materialistic world, and people are suffering a lot. People are killing themselves on antidepressant medications and having all kinds of negative consequences, despite the fact that they have everything they could ever want materialistically. And what that shows me is that we are underdeveloped in terms of the middle way, the middle pillar. We're in terms of our Christ consciousness as a society. People don't know right from wrong anymore. And when I say right and wrong, I don't mean, you know, your sexuality or who you choose to love or anything like that. What I mean is just being aligned with your own true will and doing things your way and being able to pray to your higher self and get answers from your higher self. And that's what I want to help you guys do on this channel. So if you like this video, make sure to comment below, like the video, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.